welcome to yet another episode of Diva Diaries. This gorgeous woman next to me is Alana. My name's Meghana, and today's episode is dedicated to one of the most beloved 90s TV shows.
Yes. So we wanted to do a podcast on the TV shows through the 90s, but we thought, do you know what? There is one pop sensation that just captured, I think, everyone's hearts throughout the 90s. We don't even need to say the title, do we? It is, of course, Friends. Pop sensation, just like
Absolutely.
the most, still to this day, one of my favorite TV series is.
I think when I'm at home, I just need Friends on in the background.
Yeah.
I'm probably not even watching it most of the time, but I'm making coffee, I'm pottering around, I'm making tea, but there's Friends in the background. But can I just say though, it worked in the 90s. If we were to make Friends now,
Yeah.
using the same dialogue, same plot lines and everything, it would get cancelled in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I agree. Because some of the things that we watch now, it doesn't sit well with how things are today in society, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But just going back to when you're saying, like, when you're in the house and you're pottering around and you've got those familiar voices.
Yes.
It's just the nostalgia. And obviously, because we grew up with it, isn't it? So they feel like they're part of our family in a way, in a weird way.
100%. So relevant, by the way, in India as well. In fact, India tried to remake Friends.
Okay.
I think the TV show was called Hello Friends.
Okay. Oh.
Alana, it was terrible.
So there were 6 people, like three boys,
Same
3
thing,
girls.
exactly the same thing. So if you see, they've taken exactly the same scenes
Yeah.
and then just recreated it.
Oh.
But
With
it
the
was
same
so
names, like
cringe.
the same character names?
No, so the character names changed.
Okay.
But it was so cringe because the set was just not up to the mark. The performances weren't up to the mark. It lasted barely a few episodes and then they pulled it off because it was a
Yeah.
disaster. And India was also like, it's fine, just give us the OG. It's fine. We'll just stick with Rachel and Ross and Chandler and Monica and Joey and Phoebe. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
your favorite character?
Chandler.
Mine too.
Chandler Bing. Oh my gosh, he was so funny. And I think I just go around in life just constantly looking for a guy who's going to be like Chandler because he was so funny, but with the biggest heart.
Yeah.
And he was so loyal and just adored all of his friends that were his family.
Yeah.
Chandler. So he was your favorite as
He
well.
was my favorite as well. And like you were saying, I think character arcs, if you look at
Yes.
character arcs, his was the absolute best. I was gutted when Matthew Perry, who of course played Chandler, died. But I read his autobiography, and Alana, if you're a Friends fan, I cannot recommend this autobiography more. I think it's called Friends, Lovers, and All the Terrible Things.
Yeah.
And just the revelations. Of course, he was a functional addict.
Of course, yeah.
And he struggled with addiction almost all his life. But did you know that he and Julia Roberts were seeing each other?
So I didn't actually know this. This is crazy to me because you would look at them and think they are the dream couple. So what happened there with that? Because I can't believe I missed this. Or maybe I was too young at the time, but yeah,
I promise you kind of knew.
Right.
So at that time when they were dating, Julia Roberts wasn't Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
She was still up and coming, as was he. So she made that cameo in season 2, I want to say, or 3, actually season 1. And he was actually more popular than she was.
Yes.
But while they were dating, she started doing bigger movies. So she became a film star. And Matthew Perry, because of all the problems that he had, constantly sabotaged all his romantic relationships. So now he's with this gorgeous woman that all of the world wants. He's like, you know what? She's going to realize I'm not good enough and then she's going to dump me. So Matthew Perry, broke up with Julia Roberts.
like who does that?
Who does
the
that?
world's biggest mistake ever. Julia Roberts. Wow.
And he actually admits that in the book as well. And Julia Roberts was head over heels in love with him. So she was gutted when he did what he did. But he just couldn't find love after that. He couldn't settle down. And it's so tragic because he's such a funny guy on screen, but had so many problems off screen.
So sad. But I think now it has brought, you know, the actors closer together, hasn't it, since his passing?
Yes.
Yeah, so sad. But going back to the cameos, when you said Julia Roberts did the cameo, remember Brad Pitt when he did his cameo with Jennifer Aniston?
They were still married at that time.
They were married at the time. And then obviously Reese Witherspoon being, you know, she kind of features in it throughout, doesn't she, Friends?
Yes.
And
Bruce Willis was my favorite cameo, though.
What happened there? Reminds me of that one. I
Ross's
forgot.
girlfriend's father.
Yeah.
And they hated each other.
Yes.
That was hilarious. And then Rachel breaks up with him because he cries. That episode where he just cannot stop crying.
Do you know what and that was when Rachel had the gorgeous long hair, isn't it?
Yes.
Because let's face it, Jennifer Aniston, I think, was the most famous girl, wasn't she, from Friends?
Absolutely.
And she set so many trends in regards to fashion, in regards to hair. There was even the Rachel cut. Remember the Rachel cut with all the feathers and the layers? Sorry, I just got your hand there.
That's fine.
And still now to this day, I think, I want my hair like Jennifer Aniston in season 3 or whatever, you know?
She was the fashionista.
Amazing.
And just Friends gave rise to all kinds of trends in the 90s. So one of the most beloved shows for sure. And even now, merchandise is so popular. Like a Friends mug, who doesn't want that?
I know. I have one actually.
You do?
I have a Friends mug in my cupboard that I've had for like years and years. It's all chipped and, you know, I'm not really usable anymore, but I still use it. And then they do, you know, when they do the couches and they kind of tour around the city with the famous Friends couch and people go and, you know, do the dressing up as their favorite character and stuff. It's lovely.
Even on TV show history.
Yeah.
So Friends kind of set everybody else up, all other TV stars up to get paid really well. Because you heard about that story of how David Schwimmer, who plays Ross in the series, negotiated for like $1 million a pop. So 1 million to each of them per episode. And after that, he created history in the American TV industry because after that is when actors started getting paid proper.
Yes. I mean, you can imagine that 1 million. I think they did about 148 episodes or something
10
crazy.
seasons. It was crazy. It was
1 million an episode. That's wild. So obviously Rachel and Ross got together. But then I just asked you before we started filming, did they end together? Because I know that Chandler and Monica were together in the end, but I couldn't remember if Ross and Rachel were as well.
Oh, no, they did because she got off the plane. Do you remember that scene where she's leaving a message? And then Ross is like screaming at the phone, let her off the plane, let her off the plane. And then she's standing at the back and she goes, I got off the plane.
I always wanted Joey and Phoebe to get together. And why didn't they? Oh no, that was Rachel and Joey.
Yeah. But I have trivia about that as well. So, Matt LeBlanc and Phoebe, what is her actress's name?
Lisa
Kudrow.
Yes.
Matt LeBlanc and Lisa Kudrow, they actually suggested it to the producers that at the end, can we reveal that we were just always having a secret affair?
Yes.
So there could be a montage of all these like really epic scenes of them sneaking off and being together. But the producers are like, no, it was too on the nose at that time because you have Ross and Rachel together and then you've got Chandler and Monica together. They're like, it's fine if the two of you don't end up with each other. It's nice that you find partners outside of the six of you.
And then remember when Joey went off and did his spin-off show?
Which was a disaster.
Which was a flop. That was so bad. Like, just end on a high, you know? Don't try and do things. But I recently saw an interview that Matt LeBlanc did, who plays Joey. And he was saying, people were asking, you know, what do you do now? And he's like, nothing. You know, after Friends, I took 1 year out. I said, I'm going to do nothing. And then the next year, I'm going to do nothing again. I like to say, and I'm so good at doing nothing. I just do nothing. I mean, and it's like, but to me, that's such a Joey thing.
It is.
I think the characters were very similar to their personalities in real life, wasn't it?
So apparently, Courtney Cox was actually a neat freak.
Yes.
So her dresser, her van would be the neatest and she would clean up Jennifer Aniston's van in case it wasn't. So she wouldn't go and like sit with them if the area around her wasn't clean.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. They actually do represent who they are as actual people. David Schwimmer almost did not read for Ross.
Okay. Oh, he read for Joey, right?
No. They wrote Ross for David Schwimmer.
Okay.
The producers, but he actually said no. Can you imagine David Schwimmer not playing Ross? He actually would have said no.
They're so perfect, aren't they?
Really
I remember I was watching a series a couple of weeks ago. Remember when Ross has his teeth whitened, like bright white? Yeah. And then he's on this date with this girl, and throughout the date he's holding up like pieces of bread or like a cup or just covering his teeth. And then they were in her apartment. She switches off the lights, and then she has these like luminous lights because all these like luminous posters show up on the wall. And then he opens his mouth and she's like, "What's going on with your teeth?" Yeah. And then he's like, "What's going on with with you? You've got an luminous light. Who has a luminous night in 1999, you know?
Oh my
Just
God.
so funny.
We really could go on and on about this.
Literally, we could.
Jennifer Aniston, out of the entire cast, I think has had the most successful career, I want to say.
And the most diverse. Like, I think as an actress, Jennifer Aniston, she picks such fabulous roles because obviously she is such a talented comedic actress, yeah, that's the right word, comedy actress, but she actually chooses really serious roles now, and she has had the most diverse by far, and she obviously produces now as well. She's one of the producers on the morning show, and that's a huge Apple TV show.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Our friends, they will be our friends forever. Thank you so much for watching. We really could go on and on and on and on, but we're not going to do that. We're going to stop here. But what we do recommend after you watch our episode is to go on a Friends binge.
Yes, that's what I've got no plans for the weekend, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Thank you so much for having us on. See you next time.